On Locks Mob, and welcome back to the Week 16 edition of Addy's Action. I can't believe we're already at Week 16, but we have an awesome week on tap, so I'm super excited to look into it for y'all. Before we get into that real quick, if you do want to follow me on Twitter, you can go ahead and do so right here, at ReallyAddy. If you want to ask me any 1v1s, 2v2s come Sunday morning, or any questions about any other sport, you can go ahead and ask me it right here. One real quick thing I want to talk about, we are running a holiday sale in the holiday spirit. You know, we decided to run a sale, 20% off any pass in the store. Just use the code Santa at checkout. It includes every season pass, including our new 2019 soccer pass that we just put up. As you guys know, our soccer passes are yearly, so the 2018 season pass is running out in the next 9 days. But we're back with a new one, and it's been a crazy good soccer year. I know Christian had another great day today, so if you guys are interested in getting in on the low, then go ahead and check this deal out and just use code Santa at checkout. But yeah, so with that all being said, we had an awesome week last week. I'll talk about it really quick. I told y'all Joe Mixon, man, Dalvin Cook, both those guys had 2 touchdowns. I owned both of them on both sides. Tom Brady had us in a good spot for a second until sort of that game ended up playing out fully. It felt real good after that Chris Hogan 65-yard touchdown, and then that game just kind of went real slow, but still ended up on a pretty massive week. Thanks to Dalvin Cook, thanks to Joe Mixon, thanks to the Vikings defense that had 9 sacks. So definitely a solid week. And with that being said, let's jump into this week. So at quarterback, just going over some of the ownerships that we got. It looks like DK didn't adjust the price on Nick Foles, so he's popping as a chalky QB. He's currently second next to Dak Prescott, Andrew Luck, Drew Brees, Kirk Cousins. And I think because of the popularity of Nick Foles at 4,700, and I really do like that play. I mean, his price should definitely be, at least what Carson Wentz's would be, which is at least like 5K. I mean, you'd play Carson Wentz at 5K all day here, so it should at least be like a 5,800 quarterback in sort of this Allen Brady range. So I love the discount you're getting on Foles, but for Addy's action, I'm gonna go with Sam Darnold at 4.9K. Really liked what I saw from Sam Darnold last week and this season. He has thrown a lot of picks, but it almost feels like he's on his own out there. I mean, he doesn't really have a ton of help from his coaching staff or even his skill position players, although he does have his main skill position player, Robbie Anderson, does get a great draw this week. So we'll talk about him in a little bit. But I really like Sam Darnold going up against a Packers secondary that is ranked 24th in the league. They're not that good. They're a little bit banged up. Excuse me. My apologies about we'll go ahead and let that pass. Right up the block. Looks like something serious happened. With that being said, this Packers defense gives up 9 more points per game on the road. They're stepping into a Jets. Man, this is crazy. So loud. Yeah, so they're playing in New Jersey versus the Jets, and if I can pull it up for you guys real quick, there is some juice on the over in that game. So it opened at 45.5, 53% of bets on the over, yet it has risen to 47. It's fairly good line movement on the over. I do think we could see this game shoot out because on the other end of this game, we have Aaron Rodgers versus a banged up Jets secondary that refused to double cover DeAndre Hopkins last week. They might do the same thing with Devontae Adams this week, which would inevitably result in Aaron Rodgers and that offense putting up a ton of points. I think Darnold, Robbie Anderson, those guys can match it. So really high on really high on Sam Darnold this week at 4.9K as a really good pivot off what is projected to be a really chalky Nick Foles. Anyways, let's move on to running back. So interesting week at running back with Gurley being banged up. We're still waiting on news on him. The rumor as of right now is that if he misses, CJ Anderson is going to be the starting back, which certainly puts him in play. Anyone in that offense is very, very much in play. just because of Sean McVay, etc. But we're not going to talk too much about that. The chalkiest running back, rightfully so, as of right now, is Zeke. He should be in all of your lineups. He's kind of the one running back this week that we really can feel confident about is going to get fed as much as he should. Him and Nick Chubb, I think both those guys should get a ton of touches. Both of them are projecting the top 3 as far as chalky running backs go. Next to Saquon, Elijah McGuire, Alvin Kamara, Christian McCaffrey, Tevin Coleman, Marlon Mack is up there as well. I like all those plays, all super solid plays, but none of them, and I'm surprised, none of them are Dalvin Cook, which just doesn't make sense to me. Dalvin Cook doesn't come in until the 11th or 12th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. 12th highest owned running back as far as these ownership projections go. And that's crazy. I mean, this Detroit run defense has been better since acquiring Damon Harrison. But over the past 5 weeks, they've still allowed over 6 catches per game to the running back position. And they're missing 2 of their key run stoppers. Let me pull up their names real quick. They're missing 2 of their key run defenders in Deshaun Hand and Ezekiel Ansah back-to-back. They got placed on the IR. Both those guys are key for their run defense. So missing both of them is going to be real devastating for them. And I think even the addition of Damon Harrison, who's one of the league's best run stopper, isn't enough to make this an avoidable run defense. We're seeing a lot of line movement on Minnesota, some friendly line movement on Minnesota. They've received 69% of the bets and have grown from -4.5 to -6 point favorites. I think a lot is set up in their favor. They should be able to match whoever they want away from Darius Slay as far as Stephon Diggs, Adam Thielen goes. So they should be able to sort of control this game, and I really like the prospects for Dalvin Cook. I did mention they've given up 6 catches per game to running backs over the past 5 weeks. Again, that's huge for Dalvin Cook because he is their receiving back. We saw Dalvin Cook get 19 touches last week, 19 carries last week. He popped off with them, of course, and I think he could certainly do something similar this week in Ford Field. So definitely interested in him. But again, I do think at the running back position, I'm really just going to jam in Elliott and Chubb. If I can afford Dalvin Cook there, then I'll certainly play him. But again, I do believe he's more reserved for tournaments because he is sort of like a road running back. You could get a lot of stability with just plugging in Chubb and Zeke. But yeah, so moving on to wide receiver, we have a ton of options here, but for the Addies action guy, I'm going to keep this one really cheap. I want to give you guys sort of a low-owned, low-priced guy that I think will go off. Right now, we have Robbie Anderson as the chalkiest wide receiver on DraftKings, followed by a couple high-priced guys in Michael Thomas, DeAndre Hopkins, Alshon Jeffrey. They didn't move his price at $5.3K, so he's going to be probably chalkier than the 4th highest-owned wide receiver. After that, we got Woods, Devontae Adams, Foster, Reynolds, Cooper. We're going to be reading for a long time before we reach my guy. But just to talk about a few other low-owned guys that I kind of like, Sterling Shepard, the rumor is that they're moving him back inside, which is huge. Again, Odell Beckham is still out this week. But Sterling Shepard's been playing a boundary wide receiver role with him out, and that has not been productive to his efficiency. He's just not a boundary wide receiver. He's a slot wide receiver. He's going up against Indianapolis, which is the second fastest seconds neutral pace of play team. So it should be a sharp pace up game for the Giants, considering they're one of the slowest teams in the league. Going to Lucas Oil Stadium, it's a turf field, could be a very fast-paced game. Sterling Shepard has seen increased targets with Odell Beckham Jr. out. Just the production hasn't been there. So if he's bouncing back inside, he's a super sharp play. Because the chalkiest tight end as of now projects to be Evan Ingram, who runs a lot of his routes in that similar area. So you can really get a sharp edge on the field if you go Shepard over Ingram. If Shepard is running his routes from the slot, really do like that play. Scrolling down a bit farther and going straight to the Addies action. Actually, let me stop because it goes even deeper. Isaiah McKenzie, he's not the Addies action wide receiver, but I really like him as well. a speedster, and speed versus Patriots has always been a thing. He's gotten 7 targets back-to-back weeks. He would have had more had he not gotten injured last week, but it turned out to be minor, so he's a full go this week. He's going to man that slot position for Josh Allen. Josh Allen's been way better the past 2 weeks since they've traded Andre Holmes and Kelvin Benjamin. Since he's been targeting Isaiah McKenzie, Robert Foster, Zay Jones, he's been honestly a QB1 for fantasy at least. And I think getting Isaiah McKenzie, I'm surprised his price didn't rise at all. Getting him at 3.9K is a steal in what should be a good game script for the Buffalo Bills, since they should be trailing by a good bit to New England. But the Addy's action wide receiver is even cheaper than that, even cheaper than 3,900. We're going to scroll down even farther. 3,500, Michael Gallup. The only real thing I want to say on Michael Gallup is he might be the best GPP wide receiver this week. This is right here, what I have pulled up on the screen is the air yards for weeks 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15, which is since Amari Cooper got traded to Dallas. And we see Amari Cooper has 23 more targets than Michael Gallup for sure, but Michael Gallup's still the second highest targeted player in that span. In addition to that, he's second in the league. Sorry, I'm lagging. I'm lagging really bad right now. But he's second in targets, or third in targets behind Zeke, my bad. But he's second in air yards, only 60 behind Amari Cooper. And if you're chasing GPP upside, you're going for these air yards. You're going for this A-dot right here. Average depth of target at 14.9. Weighted opportunity rating of 0.51, which is, I can tell you right now, a weighted opportunity rating of 0.51 is as high as it's going to get for a 3.5K player. I think you are more than welcome to double stack Dallas this week, and I mean as if like a running back with a wide receiver, even triple stack it with a Dak at quarterback. I think if you go Dak, Zeke, and then Michael Gallup, I think you're doing yourself a good service in the sense that Michael Gallup could still bust a long one, but it'll still give Zeke enough opportunity to eat. He'll still get more opportunity to eat because he only needs 1-2 plays, and he can give you 20, 25 fantasy points. So I really, really like this play at 3.5K. It's going to be hard to get him out of my lineup with how much there is to pay up at running back with Zeke and Barkley and Kamara and Chubb and those guys. I think I'm going to go with the pay down and wide receiver route, and I really like Robbie Anderson, really like Michael Gallup, Isaiah McKenzie, all those guys, awesome plays. Sterling Shepard as well. Moving on to tight end, though, like I said, Evan Ingram projecting to be the chalkiest tight end this week. Makes sense. He's coming off 12 targets last week and a season-high 36 routes run. Going up again in the same pace-up matchup that I talked about for Sterling Shepard. And versus an Indianapolis team that does tend to funnel targets in front of them. They like to keep things in front of them. And that kind of is where Evan Ingram would succeed the most, since he does run those short A-dot routes. But Zach Ertz at here at 5.9K, his price should be so much higher than this. It should be like 7.6K, or maybe not 7.6, but he should be priced like a true elite wide receiver 1, and he's just not. So like, if you want to pay up for tight end or just in general, I think your best bet is probably just getting in Zach Ertz versus a Houston team that is just horrible versus the tight end. I think quarterbacks have a 114 passer rating targeting the tight end position versus Houston, so they're real bad. For that reason, though, coming down the Addy's action tight end this week is going to be based off of that, but a little cheaper. It's going to be Dallas Goedert at 2.6K. He's got the same matchup as Zach Ertz versus a Houston team that I just talked about. Gives up 114 passer rating when targeting the tight end position. They have just gotten shelled by the tight end position all season. Dallas Goedert, the big news on him is that Philly has gone very too tight end heavy the past few weeks. The past 2 weeks, Dallas Goedert has been on the field for 70 snaps. That's opposed to Golden Tate, who's been on the field for 42 snaps. So it really does look like they're trying to get Dallas Goedert more involved. I think at 2.6K, he's got pretty good touchdown equity at that price. I do think he's a good bet to get a couple red zone looks. So I really think he's an interesting play at 2.6K. We know he's a really talented guy. And with a lot of people maybe flocking to Ertz and paying up, Evan Ingram, etc., I think paying down, going way up at running back, and getting yourself 2 cheap wide receivers and maybe even a good wide receiver because you went so cheap at tight end, that could be a more than viable route this week. And then moving on to defense. Again, all we're really looking for is pressure on the quarterback. Keep an eye on this Rams situation. If they are truly as banged up as it looks like they may be, then you can go ahead and punt with the Cardinals defense. I really like the Cowboys defense here at 2.6K. They do a great job of generating pressure. They're a much better defense at home. Jameis Winston is prone to throwing quite a few turnovers, or quite a few picks. The Dolphins defense, they're also in play. They're getting back Xavier and Howard, and really it's just a matchup thing. They're going up against Jacksonville, who's totally quit on the season. Cody Kessler sucks. They don't even know what they're doing with their run game. So I think Miami's certainly in play. And then the Vikings defense, it wouldn't be right for me not to talk about the team that's leading the league in adjusted sack rate. They just got me 9 sacks last week, so I definitely have a soft spot in my heart for them right now. But they're going up against a Detroit team that is banged up in their offensive line, missing a few more of their starters this week. And they only rank, I think, in the bottom. I think they're 10th from the bottom, so 20th in the league in adjusted sack rate as far as Detroit's offensive line goes. So definitely a good pressure matchup, and that's really all you're looking for with the Vikings defense. And they pair extremely well with Dalvin Cook. So with that being said, guys, thank you so much for finding your way back to this video. Again, if you do want to follow me, you can follow me right here at RayleighAddy on Twitter. You can go ahead and interact with me here. Don't forget about our holiday sale. This is going to run through Christmas, so make sure you guys get in. Would love to have you. Would love to make you some money this holiday season and beyond. And yeah, with that being said, for me, from everyone at Locks DFS, I want to wish you guys a really happy holiday. Enjoy your time with your family, whatever that may mean to you. Enjoy it. Thank you guys for checking out the video. Thank you for being a part of the Locks DFS family. And yeah, with that all being said, let's win some money this week, guys. Peace.